And here we go.
Nice. Welcome back to another episode of Well-Behaved Women. Today we have Lauren, Hannah, Anika, and me, B. And as always, we are going to be blind listening to a story. Some badass lady of history, whether she be, using her powers for good or for evil, is what we're going to find out. We're going to have lots of opinions and things. So Lauren, tell us what we're going to be learning about today.
I hope it's chaotic good.
I don't care what it is.
I did give you the quote to read, so
you did.
That there is a certain level of chaotic good.
Yes.
Which I love.
I know, and I'm so excited.
All right. On this year in history, 10 sophomores from Rutgers College, which is the modern-day Rutgers University, steal a 1-ton cannon from the campus of the College of New Jersey, which is modern-day Princeton, and they start the Rutgers-Princeton Cannon War.
Wow. Sounds safe.
Yeah.
Boys.
Pranks were different back then.
This sounds like something they do anywhere between the 20s to the 1960s.
Have we identified this group? Because I agree with you. It doesn't sound like something women would do.
No.
I mean,
No, but
most students were guys at that point.
Right.
Yeah, but if they were women, we gotta talk about them.
Yes.
That's. I always assume we start there, but we don't.
Okay.
Every time I do research for an episode, I always end up they always cross paths with another person, and I'm like, oh, I really need to cover them. Okay.
Yeah.
Takes me down a never-ending
And
pathway.
we love those rabbit holes.
Brigham Young University is founded in Provo, Utah, 2 years prior to the death of the university's namesake.
Okay. That throws a wrench in my ideas, because I know Brigham Young had to have been there before the 60s, for sure. So then I'm going to guess now we're looking at the 1870s. I'm just jumping around.
What was it, 1960s down to the 1870s?
I gave myself
just a 90-year span, that's fine.
I gave myself originally a 40-year span between the 20s and the 60s, and now I'm like, screw that. Go 50 years before all that.
I'm going to guess, somewhere between like 1800 and now.
Great job.
I love that span.
We love that for you.
All right. Henry Cavendish Jones convinces the All England Croquet Club to replace a croquet court with a lawn tennis court, resulting in the legendary tennis event called Wimbledon.
You said Cavendish. I'm just thinking about bananas now.
All right, if Wimbledon is getting started, now I'm going to... 1885.
She's so close. Catherine Dexter was born in Dexter, Michigan, August 27th, 1875.
Ooh,
Okay.
10 years, all right.
10 years. Her family was indeed the Dexter after which the town was named. Her father was a prominent lawyer in Chicago, Wirt, and his wife Josephine Dexter.
Sorry. What?
Can you spell that?
Was it
Wirt.
Wirt?
Wirt.
W-O-R-t?
Nope.
I live,
W-U-R-T.
I live in
Nope.
a wort.
Is it W-A-R?
W-I-R-T. Wirt.
Wirt. Wirt?
Wirt.
Wirt? Hey, Wirt! Can you come here for a minute?
I
That
think
is
you'd have to look at your baby and be really just not impressed with their face in order to name them that.
No. You have to come over as like the neighbor to meet the baby, right? What's your name? I'm all Wirt.
Sounds like someone wants to bet.
Yeah,
Probably.
definitely.
Oh, God. All right. All right, so sorry, Wirt and who?
Wirt and Josephine.
Wirt and Joss. Okay. They had baby Dexter.
They had baby Catherine, yeah.
Baby Catherine.
So they encouraged education for both their children. She had a brother named Samuel.
Cool.
And when she was 14, Wirt died.
Oh.
I told you that was going to be a theme of this show.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to think of something funny. I can't think of anything funny.
No,
R.I.P. Wirt.
God bless Wirt.
Wirt the Squirt. Good guy.
So, sorry. All right. So Wirt died, and Josephine moved the family to Boston. 5 years later, her brother Samuel also died.
Oh, what happened?
He got meningitis.
Oh, that's rough.
It is rough, yeah.
And fast.
That takes you so quickly, yeah.
Ooh.
So she was really smart, and she got into the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT.
Hey.
She majored in biology and lived at home while she went to school. Before Katharine came along, there was only one female student to have graduated. She studied biology.
STEM. Women in STEM. Love it.
MIT was founded in 1861 with this vision in mind.
The true and only practicable object of a polytechnic school is, as I conceive, the teaching, not of the minute details and manipulations of the arts, which can be done only in the workshop, but the inculcation of the scientific principles which form the basis and explanation of them, and along with this, a full and methodical review of all the leading processes and operations in connection with physical laws.
Excellent. Excellent job. That was great.
That's what I imagine nerds in the 1800s sounded.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it took me to a very stuffy wooden lecture hall with this guy with like a twiddly mustache.
Yeah, that's what I got.
That's
Okay,
the guy.
cool.
You
Yeah.
did it.
Corduroy suit. He's smoking a pipe after class.
Probably a bow
Yes.
tie.
Oh, for sure.
See, and I love that because in my brain, I'm thinking of like the 1950s, 1960s nerd with like the hiked up pants and the pocket protectors and like the... Now you see here.
Yeah, see, this guy smokes a pipe, for sure.
I love that.
Uh-huh.
So to make sure I can paraphrase what he was saying is basically he was saying don't get bogged down in the minutia of like the technicals of the science. It's the principles behind them that are more
Yeah,
important.
we're not really trying to say what the difference between art and science is. They kind of bleed together, and we're going to
Yes.
try to do everything we can with both.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Cool.
Like
I
you said,
like
they
this
bleed into each other.
viewpoint. I hope. I'm just worried.
2 days following the charter, the Civil War broke out.
Yay. Great.
Fantastic.
That helps you learn.
So the school didn't start classes until 1865.
Okay.
They had some really fun rules regarding the dress codes for women,
Oh,
Naturally.
no.
of course.
Do they involve shackles?
No, not
Thank
quite.
God.
Not quite.
I was worried.
They at the time they required that all women students wear hats, preferably decorated with feathers and frills.
Whoa.
What?
Spiffy.
It's like a reminder that they're women, I guess.
Don't forget your chastity belts.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like Office Space, where there's a certain number of like
Pieces of
flair. Of flair that you have
Oh,
that's
yes.
suggested to
How
wear.
else is
but
she
like,
gonna learn if she doesn't have a feather?
The feathers where they get their power from.
Yeah, exactly. She's a witch. She must have nature nearby, or else she doesn't work.
There's sage in her hat. She's definitely a witch.
There will be no ghosts in this lecture hall.
We had a ghost in our bathroom today.
We sure did.
Oh no, what happened?
It's just a flickering light bulb that, been once unscrewed to off, still decided to flicker on and off again.
It wasn't completely unscrewed. Like, it was still
But it was
barely
in that middle
hanging out.
area.
Yeah.
more than enough.
You could use it to communicate.
It was.
I was
You know what?
just
Pass.
saying...
Pass.
Nobody wants to ghost hunt with me here?
No.
I was saying he had to be friendly to the ghost.
Yeah.
What did
And
I say?
you-
Ghost, don't be rude.
he
Well, that's-
told it to get the fuck out.
That's like
and
neutral, not friendly.
yeah, I was like, you gotta be nice because
No? Is that a no face?
yeah. And then you know what happened? You weren't nice, and the light kept flickering. Didn't it?
Every time you come in, fuck this guy.
I want that stricken from the record.
all right. So they've got the feathered hats,
Essential.
essential to any female student.
Yep. Part of the back to school supply section of
I mean, I
Target.
get it. I got feathers on my hats. It's fine.
Catherine thought that this was a fairly obvious safety hazard in labs to have an incredibly flammable object that dingles about among open flames.
What do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Shut up and wear your feather.
How will we know that you are pretty under the hat?
She's woke.
It's uniform, goddammit.
She's woke.
Follow the rules, lady.
Just as Mongolian wrestlers have to be tits out, MIT women had to be hats on,
And feathers out.
feathers out. It was just how it was done.
Too bad tit feathers are so tiny. Yeah.
What if you just like tie your feather back? Can you just tie your feathers back?
Yeah, put a little hairnet over your hat.
Yeah, hairnet, feather net.
Safety.
I bet they had those with some.
Long pants, hairnets, or...
Here's a new thought altogether. An employee locker where we hang our hat.
Oh,
What?
look at that. Oh,
But then we're back to
Student
the
locker,
issue
whatever.
of
We're wearing a hat
women
in the
need
class.
to wear...
he's a witch.
Wear your hat outside.
Well, also, you're in class, and so imagine there's a male student, a really important one, that's sitting behind you, and your female hat with all of its feathers and frills
Yep.
gets in the way
And
of
now
his
you're
learning.
distracting people.
Oh,
Yeah, now you're distracting people.
They're
Like,
basically
come
setting her up.
Ugh.
on. Exactly.
Women are always just such a distraction in class. With our
Can't stand it.
feathers, our shoulders.
Oh, they couldn't show
Our
shoulders yet.
breathing.
How dare you? How dare you say that? Come on. They were lucky if they had an ankle show.
No.
Okay.
Have you no shame?
Jesus. How did he know? He could smell it?
Yeah, I can smell your ankle.
I can smell it. It's like sharks in the water. Skin cell shows. They can smell it from 2 miles away.
Who pulled up their pant leg? I smell you.
It's illegal.
All right, anyway, so
Okay.
she approached the school board about it and basically was like, this makes no sense, and obviously it's a fucking hazard.
How'd that go?
They changed the rules.
Oh!
They listened to her?
MIT listened to her.
Thank you, MIT.
Yep. When she graduated in 1904, she planned to attend medical school, but instead met a man named Stan.
A man named
named
Stan.
A man named Stan.
Dun, 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 dun. Sorry.
That sounds
American Dad. Sorry. I got too excited.
Man Named Stan kind of sounds like a horror movie from the 80s. Like a, it's, it's very like M. Night Shyamalan vague, you know. A man named Stan. You know,
Okay.
What do we know about Stan?
write a song.
Do
about
we
Stan.
do we ship Stan and Catherine?
Stanley McCormick was
Oh,
a smarty pants.
I'll stand for Stan.
You'll stand for Stan?
I will not.
No, you will not
I
stand.
will not.
Okay.
Because of McCormick?
I don't know. Go,
Is it
continue.
McCormick Spices?
I think so.
Ooh. She knows how to find them.
He was a smarty pants. So he graduated from Princeton cum laude. He was on the tennis team, and he was a handsome devil.
Everybody played tennis then.
It was a hot sport, man.
Keeps you in shape.
Oh, it does.
He was also the heir to the international harvester fortune that had been controlled by the McCormick family. They married in 1904, and the next year moved in together in Boston.
Okay.
In 1906, though, tragedy struck.
Oh, no.
Disaster! 2 years following their marriage, Stanley had to be hospitalized. After a year of diagnostics and studies, doctors said he had dementia praecox, which is what we now call schizophrenia.
Oh, no, that's hard.
He wasn't the first in his family to have it. In fact, he was the second in his own generation to be diagnosed.
Oh, shoot.
His sister was ultimately sent to a sanitarium in Alabama, and when he finally got his official diagnosis, he was stripped of his power of attorney, moved to California to recover, and in 1909 his inheritance was split between the McCormick family themselves and Catherine.
And he was
Okay.
never heard from again.
Yeah.
No, she went back and visited him. They love each other.
We'll see.
Neapolitan.
Elsewhere in politics.
Oh,
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I was trying to identify the noise.
First, I thought you were trying to do a
'Twas
chicken
me.
dance. It kind of sounded like that. All right.
Telegram.
At some point, we need to get like an actual little like beep 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 beep.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'll just.
But
get-
sometimes I think it's more funny to
apps,
just shock
there's
you with
apps
it.
for that. There's
His
apps
face
for,
said it all.
There's an app for that. That's
There's
the
an
whole
app?
fucking.
Dude, that was an old commercial.
Yeah, right.
Ah.
I'll get a soundboard app and I'll just play them.
Yeah,
I remember there was an app for that.
There's an app for
Oh,
that.
You're welcome.
I am old.
Thank you. I know. I feel so old now.
Did you know that like iPods, like the original iPods, are in museums now.
Even the iPod Nanos that used to play videos are still
I loved my little Nano.
I still have one.
They just
It's
stopped
somewhere in
selling
my
them.
crap.
Did you
It's a
hear-
little green one, and I have all.
Yeah.
I suddenly get transcended back to 2008.
Yeah,
American
I had the
Girl
7th.
dolls.
Oh, the American
What
Girl
about it?
dolls.
The
released.
newest American Girl doll.
Talk about it.
She's from the 90s.
What?
They are.
We are officially
adding the
old. I knew it.
I think there's 2 of them. There's
Man,
a
I'm
90s,
so close to death.
like early 90s and late 90s. One's grunge, one's more tween pop,
Yeah.
and it's like they're
Got
going
these,
in
like,
the
cute streaks in her hair.
yeah, it's a
Spice
classic.
Girls?
It was like,
A classics collection or something.
Mm.
I don't know. It was a little
You
offensive,
know what?
but
No,
oh
no.
well.
The fact that they're willing to admit that we're classics now,
We are classics.
that's fucking right. That's
That
what I'm
is
saying.
right. Question: do any of you remember, instead of the American Girl dolls, it was the My Twin dolls?
No.
Where they would, okay,
Yes.
my mom, yes,
My brother would probably hate me telling people this, but he had Bratz dolls when we were kids.
hell
Did
yeah.
you really?
I loved Bratz dolls. I loved them so much.
I was
They
a
were
Barbie
so-
kid. Like
I
I
had
was
both.
I was a kid when I was in the 90s, and I got all of the 90s Barbies.
Like, I think he grew out of that phase
Not all
pretty
of them.
quickly.
We were
your
poor,
brother.
but
I guarantee you won't get it right. Go ahead.
it's Sam.
It's
Sam.
not the one you think it would be. That's for damn sure.
yeah.
My mom didn't like Bratz dolls. She didn't like the concept.
My mom didn't
he didn't
either.
have
She
that
wouldn't let me
many.
get them.
I got some as a gift, and she was like, but I was allowed to keep them. I just loved that when you took off their shoes, it was their whole foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. The little peg leg situation.
Uh huh.
Yeah, it's the best part of them.
Allegedly.
And their feet were so
Allegedly.
big compared to the rest of their body. Their feet were like 3 times the width of their waist.
They were just feet and like forehead. And
feet
then,
and eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, all eyes.
And lips. And lips.
Oh,
Big
the
ass
lips
lips.
were really weird.
Yeah, but they were fashionable and I was all about it.
They look like if fish were people.
Do you remember the year
Oh my
of Furby?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes. They
Ah,
gave
yes.
that as
That's
McDonald's toys for a while there.
It's just like a light bulb.
But I had like
I had a regular size Furby, and like it was
creepy.
it was the
Yeah, they
thing
turn
to
on
have
in the
that
middle
summer.
of the night. We had.
Oh, I miss my Furby.
She goes,
I don't
yes.
miss that son of a bitch.
I do, because it was just chaos. But do you guys remember Poochie? They had like the robot dog.
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted
one of
one
those.
so bad.
My mom got me one, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. It sang only Christmas songs, though.
I love
And it
that.
was just like, I love that thing. And my mom was going insane, because it'd be like, bark, 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 bark. It's like August. And it's just like, all year round, it was Christmas songs. And she just finally, it just went missing.
She sent it to
I
the
did
farm,
that to
dude.
a couple
And
of
then
my
Furby
little brother's
showed up.
toys.
She sent it to the robot farm.
I think
love
so. The robot rainbow bridge.
Yeah.
The robot, or the
I miss my
rainbow
Tamagotchi.
microchip.
I was gonna say we couldn't afford the Tamagotchis, but we got the off-brand,
Yeah.
and I loved those little things. And then when like video games kind of first got introduced, there was this little world where you were like kind of in a space station area, and you would like lay eggs, and you would raise these little things.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, what the hell was it?
I don't remember its name. I'm like
I don't
dying.
know.
I keep wanting to go
We
back
had
and
that
play it.
too.
It was fun.
Do you remember what you played it on? A computer?
PlayStation.
I think it was a
PlayStation?
computer.
Oh, computer?
Both.
Oh,
It had to
both?
have been. Yeah, I know exactly.
I don't
what you're
know
talking
this
about.
one.
can't
I
remember.
got sucked into The Sims and I didn't look up for like 15 years.
Love Sam.
Rosebud Code, baby.
Yes, it was. I just got sucked in and here I am.
Love that.
I don't know.
Neopets.
Who's president?
Real big.
Neopets
Yes.
was big for a while.
I had a Neopet.
You had to
That
have
was what I
internet
had.
to have Neopets. Though. We had shitty internet.
Neopets.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, my dad had Net Zero a lot longer than everyone
Yeah,
else.
no, we weren't really.
I forgot
allowed to
about
use
Net
it.
Zero.
At home, I had to go to the public library.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. So, how are we?
Anyway,
Yeah.
The short one.
Yeah, we won't make it short.
That's funny.
all right. She's with Stan.
Oh, yes, we were learning about Stan, who is
It's a da moment.
the news
Yeah,
bulletin.
schizophrenia
Yes, that's where
Stan.
we were.
We learned about Stan. We're going into
did.
politics.
Correct.
Women's suffrage
Hell
was
yeah.
finally picking up. Yep.
Woo!
Goddamn right. But by 1909, women still didn't have the right to vote, the right to choose, the right to do pretty much anything with their lives.
No, yeah, they were 10 years away.
A woman on her own could control her own money, but the second she got married off, along with all of her money, became the legal properties of her husband. This wasn't exactly good news for women, as they'd be married and then abandoned, and all of their stuff is taken with them. Women were entering the workforce. They were trying to gain a voice as roughly 50% of the population. Katharine really liked this. She spoke at the first outdoor rally for women's suffrage in Massachusetts in 1909, and she now had some money to put into an effort she really believed in.
Hell yeah.
She used Stanley McCormick's inheritance and the control of his funds to do so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, he's a vegetable. Why not?
Oh yeah, I forgot he's alive.
No, he's.
I forgot
She's
he was
visiting
alive.
a corpse.
I forgot. Okay.
He's locked in a padded room all day.
I feel horrible. Sorry, Stan.
I mean, I imagine that treatment for schizophrenia at that point in time did
They
involve
probably
a lot
did
of
consider-
sedatives.
Oh, that's even sadder.
But anyway,
Oops, sorry. Continue.
People don't forget.
Some say he's still
they're
there now.
There it is.
All right, sorry, I'm done.
Haunting the grounds.
You just sound like the guy that goes, they did the math.
That's it.
They did the monster math.
Every voice that I do is just a
Radio.
different thing of another thing. Yeah.
That's how new things are made.
actually, that's
Yeah,
my
yeah.
second.
I always thought of the silly one I did earlier is always something I refer to as my Nigel Thornberry voice. That's the.
Do that.
Go on.
All right, so she was putting the funds to good use, and we appreciate that.
Yes. So for the next decade, she worked with many women in the movement and even served as treasurer in all of this was just in service of women getting the vote. So 11 years after she joined the movement, the 19th Amendment was ratified, earning women the right to vote. During this time, the First World War was happening, so Katharine also worked on the Women's Committee of the Council of National Defense and as a chairwoman on the War Service Department.
Damn.
She busy.
I was gonna say, I felt like her plate was already full. Girl, why? Okay, yay. I'm all for it.
Her
Let's
husband's gone, and she's got a lot of money and basically nothing but time
Again,
and
he's
money
not
to spend.
gone. He's just.
He's across
upstate.
the country. He's in California.
He's at the farm.
He is at the farm. Across the fucking
I'm sorry,
country.
Stan.
For the rainbow in California.
Yeah. It's ironic though that the company makes seasoned salt because he's a vegetable. All right. That's...
Look at that groan we made.
Saw it in real time.
I did.
Love it.
I'm really fighting every urge to
Go play in the rain.
not just rip all these down and be like, look at the rain. But I won't.
Another 5-year-old when it
Yeah.
comes to the rain.
I love the rain.
I do like rain.
I'm
She's
from
from
Southern
California.
California.
There's no
Tell me
rain
where
there.
I'm from.
Oh, that's true. I lived there for a year. It rained once.
Uh-huh.
For maybe 10 minutes.
Yep.
They're experiencing a super bloom right now, which we were there for. Which it's just
It was so
huge neon
beautiful.
bright
It's because
flowers
they've
everywhere.
literally
Wow.
been dumped on with atmospheric rivers all fucking winter. Obviously, they're gonna have a super bloom.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Northern California might just wash away entirely
Probably.
when the snow melts.
It reminds me of the great in the 1870s, it's in Sacramento.
Oh.
They had to
Oh yeah, washed out all
temporarily
the bridges and
relocate
everything. Yeah.
the capital of the state to they had to seat it to San Francisco because the whole town was underwater.
Oh, shit.
And people would just drop into sinkholes
I didn't
and
realize.
never come back.
Yeah, there's
Oh, wow.
towns that are all washed out.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It's so hard to watch flood footage and how much people lose and they're all on the roofs.
gnarly.
Oh, God.
That's really bad. All right. So while she was active in that movement, she met a woman we will cover in a future episode, Margaret Sanger.
All right.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Ah, you know something.
Yeah. Maybe one day I'll talk about my weirdly religious background.
All right.
Join the club. We're all here. We're all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you see
We're
pictures
all
of me
scarred.
praying in front of abortion clinics? Just
Don't worry.
Ignore them.
That
Yeah.
is...
I'm so proud of you for coming such a long way. Because that's pretty entrenched.
It was rough.
It's hard.
I was a teenager, and I figured it out.
I'm
by the
super
time
proud of
I
you.
had turned 18, which
That's good.
That's awesome, because so many people
I
don't.
saved time.
You know.
There are people who are still real deep in there, and I'm not. So
I am so happy that you're here.
me too. I'm vibing.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
X Club.
Yeah.
What?
No, you're right.
All right, so we meet Margaret Sanger. She is perhaps most well known for coining the term birth control.
Ooh.
Catherine joined Margaret in a group called the Committee of 100, dedicated to promoting the legalization of birth control.
Woo!
This issue was a deeply personal one for Catherine, whose husband was locked away across the country with schizophrenia and no ability to control it. She surmised that if he and his sister both had that condition, it must be hereditary, so she resolved never to have children for fear she would pass along that gene.
Okay.
Oh,
Sad.
smart woman, though.
Yeah, it's a smart decision, honestly.
Thinking things through.
Yeah. Like, I don't
Can
want
be
someone else
heartbreaking.
to be suffering through this.
It's pretty progressive and selfless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catherine jumped headlong into assistance where she could for the mass education of sex and birth control methods. She was committed to assisting her friend Margaret where she could, and when Margaret opened women's clinics, Catherine helped keep them supplied.
Yay.
And
That's a
this
hero.
is yours.
I got it right here.
Okay.
I'm ready.
From Wikipedia.
Throughout the 1920s, McCormick worked with Sanger on birth control issues. McCormick smuggled more than 1,000 diaphragms from Europe to New York City to Sanger's Clinical Research Bureau. She scheduled meetings with major European diaphragm manufacturers in cities such as Rome and Paris, and used her language skills and biology background to pose as a French or German scientist, and placed large orders for the devices. So she would just call up and be like, "Hello, I have a horrible accent.
I'm the
Right.
doctor. Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
I am the doctor.
I's doctor. All
I am
right.
le doctor.
They were shipped to her family chateau, Prangen's Castle, or Prangen's Castle, maybe, outside Geneva, where they were sewn into the linings of fashionable coats and other garments. She smuggled them past U.S. customs agents in New York,
That's some cartel level shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I
love
love it. She smuggled them past U.S. customs agents in New York, having successfully disguised them as the spoils of extravagant European shopping sprees for high-end fashions. I imagine like Elle Woods with like thousands of
Yes.
bags walking down, but pretending to be a scientist.
Right, and these customs agents are
No,
just
she's
like,
pretending to be the fashion girl while
Oh,
actually being
okay.
the
Right.
scientist.
That's amazing.
She's like posing as like, oh, I
Look.
just went shopping and look at because I have all this money.
I'm
I can
such
buy
a
all this
great
finery.
woman, filling out
Me, it's my
womanly.
riches.
and the
Yes.
customs
Yes.
guys are just like, we couldn't possibly mess with any of this. It's
Look
too
how
much.
fabulous she is.
She would never. Look at this
She's
woman.
dripping with riches. Obviously,
Yes.
she would never smuggle anything.
Never.
No, and she's too pretty.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't
And
happen.
don't forget white.
Yeah, there's also that for her. All right, so she made these trips every summer from 1922 to 1925, only retiring after the 1925 Santa Barbara earthquake forced her to redirect her attention to rebuilding her husband's estate and devote her energy to helping direct his care. So unfortunately, a huge tragedy was the only thing that could stop her.
She's like the Harriet Tubman birth control.
Thank you for sewing diaphragms into things. Woo!
That's a lot of diaphragms to be sewing into things.
I'm trying to think, like, what...
It's so nice.
Like,
It's so.
I can't say I know exactly what a diaphragm...
Right,
I know what it does.
So it's
What does it look like?
you know, okay, you know how there's
Hashtag millennial props.
Yeah, right?
it's like
An inside-out condom? I don't...
okay, you know how when you take a bath there's like a plug stopper that sits at the
Okay.
bottom of the thing, but shove that up yourself.
Chain.
It's like a little cup, but
Okay.
like
I was just going to say it's like your cup.
inverted.
Okay, I was like, because there are like disposable menstrual cups that kind of look like that too.
Oh,
But those
okay.
you can't use for birth control.
No.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't know.
Okay, but I think... Okay, thank you. I think I have a better picture of what this is, because I'm like,
Yeah,
how would
yeah.
you sew that into... I guess coats are thicker.
No, they look. I mean, they're like about that big around.
We could just
Yeah.
Google it.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, I guess we
all
have phones. I guess.
We have so many options here.
For any men that are listening to this at all, it's just like, yeah, even the women don't know what these diaphragms are.
Well, that's because these are old.
Hey, whatever.
This is something that they
Whatever, man.
maybe showed you in school,
You had
in
to
health
suffer,
class,
you don't know the
one
history.
time.
In, like, fifth
Ungrateful.
grade.
If you were fortunate enough to have, like...
Yeah, if your parents didn't pull you out.
some quality-ish sex ed.
But, spoiler alert, there's a reason why we're talking about this in terms of we don't know. Because there's all these other effective methods of birth control that we have now.
True.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Guess that's
Not, like, a little spoiler alert there, but...
She's out there blazing those trails.
She is. That should be turned into, like, a segment or, like, a sound that you can just make.
You have to listen real hard if you want to hear what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, so you could sew that into the lining of a coat.
Just makes it really hard to edit.
I know.
So hard to edit.
That's all in there.
Yeah,
Just
you
being a
probably
little
could. I
raspy.
wonder how many you could sew into the lining of one coat.
A bunch.
I mean, like, how long did they get away with doing, like, hundreds of, you know...
It's got to be at least like 100 or 50.
all the coke from, like,
per-
South America, they're sewing it in there. So, I mean, they
Putting
could
it
probably
in
do a
bumpers.
lot.
They're putting it
And
in
dogs
wood
can't smell
planks. Imagine dogs looking around for diaphragm.
We got a diaphragm dog. The diaphragm dogs are coming around. Hurry.
This is the...
Well, this is the 1920s, so she's highly fashionable, and she can just, like, literally march off a fucking boat.
Right.
And
There's
with
no
all these
TSA.
bags in tow, and, like, there's no TSA.
There is
We
no
gotta-
I forget there's no TSA.
Very little customs.
So, like, you just walk in, walk out.
We got a dog that sells, he sniffs out the sex smugglers, you know? Their diaphragms and doohickeys.
And do it.
Diaphragms and doohickeys.
Oh, God. What a world.
Don't you be having sex now.
You will get pregnant and die. And, you know, that shit still happens today.
You asked for it.
So Catherine goes through life phases, like, kind of just little periods. So she's out of the women's suffrage phase. She's into birth control. And she's kind of been first forced out of birth control and back to biology. Because now she's back with her husband, dealing with what's going on over there. So Stanley's condition was getting worse. And Catherine got this idea that there must be some chemical imbalance in his adrenal gland and founded the Neuroendocrine Research Foundation in 1927. A center located in Harvard and was funded by Catherine for 20 years. She also gave funds to continue the publication of the Journal of Endocrinology. This was the first organization to suggest that there was a connection between mental illness and chemical imbalances in the body and brain. In addition to this, she started a research center for the care of the mentally ill at Worcester State Hospital.
I have a whole other reason to absolutely love her because she's also helping me on the mental health front.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
And she really kind of tried to, like, posit the idea that whatever's going on, there must be an imbalance. It must be, like, there must be some physical proof that this isn't just all in his head.
Yeah, she's not blaming him solely for his mental health.
Yeah.
Which is huge in terms of how mental health has been viewed.
Moved beyond the idea of blaming witchcraft or
Yeah.
demons.
She's a woman of science. Come on now.
Or whatever it may be.
I love her now. More than ever.
She was rich already because she had Stanley's trust funds coming in periodically. But in 1937, Josephine Dexter died and left Catherine with more than $10 million in her estate.
Oh,
I'm sorry, $10 million in 1910. Where were you?
Quick math!
We're doing like what? We're at like 1921.
That's inflation. That's not math. That's a different thing.
What year are we right now?
Quick word, do the math.
Wort. Are we back to? Did I hear wort?
I heard wort. What year are we in right now?
Borty. Bort.
So, what year was it?
1937.
Oh, 37. I'm way off.
I got it right here. So we'd be looking at about $200 million.
Oh. And she
Holy
got that
shit.
from her mother?
Her mother-in-law, yeah.
How did her?
They were a very rich family over there.
Oh, this is mother-in-law.
I mean, they're literally, it's the namesake town of Dexter, Michigan. Their family is
Okay.
Her dad
the
was like a
Dexters.
hoity-toity lawyer.
Okay. Wow. So
They're
think
rich.
of all Well, she's like beyond rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's an heiress.
Eris.
In 1941, she helped found the Sun. Sorry.
It's the worms.
It
You
is.
can't just say that with no context.
Oh, sorry.
Absolutely, you can.
It's the worms.
Lawrence got worms. That's what you
Sorry you guys had to find out this way. Maybe the worms have an opinion. And they're coming up to say hi. Oh, yeah, me too.
In 1941, she helped found the Santa Barbara Museum of Art and named a gallery after Stanley.
All right.
Her continued support and donations helped fund it for many years. And then Stanley died in 1947, leaving her with over $35 million in his estate.
All
right, we need more math.
Let's
Math
go.
with work.
My God!
You said 34 million.
$35 million in 1947.
Jesus.
God, imagine what a man with all that money would do. Nothing super, super great, most
Hey,
likely.
no.
Some maybe, yes.
She'd buy a lot of toys and a big old
But
mansion.
historically, men have the power and the money. It gets dicey, but I'm happy to see that she's putting it back out there. Maybe I'm a little too biased. Sorry, B. You're right. I could be a little too biased.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
That's okay. That's what this podcast is for.
Okay, $35 million in 1947 is worth $473 million today.
She had
Round up to
just under $700 million.
She had $500 million in 1945.
Holy guacamole.
That's a lot of money.
That's so much money.
If I could just have a morsel, that would be great.
Just a teeny
She's rich, bitch!
Just a smidge.
I just want to go, ha, ha, thank you. Millennial sounds.
Wah, wah, wah.
Chappelle show.
Chappelle show.
Sad whistle noise. I can't whistle like that, so.
Me neither.
So, even though he left her with over $35 million in his estate, it took her 5 years to settle the estate.
I thought you were going to say to spend it. That is a nice spending spree.
That would be
Very impressive.
God, you'd have to buy a country in that time frame.
that's what you were going to say.
So it took her 5 years to settle the estate, and they took 85% in taxes.
Whoa!
So do that math.
Why the hell would
Math
they do
with work.
85%?
Taxes.
Of
But would
just
they have
his
ta-
estate?
What?
Of just
Yeah.
his estate?
It was his whole family's estate.
His whole family's estate.
So,
I mean, I think they had, like, a bunch of other people had their own inheritances, but, like, his
section of the
estate
inheritance.
from his family.
so 85% of 35 million.
No. 15% of $35 million.
Hold on.
Actually, it should be, well, it's 35 because it's the one estate. Never mind.
So we're down to 5.2.
Yeah, we're looking at roughly about 75 schmillies in today's money.
removed
Is
from
what,
it.
sitting
is what she
pretty.
has left over
Is what she has left over.
of his estate.
And she still has the 10.
She had, we went from $500 million down to $75 million.
Which is like, what
Still
the
a
hell?
respectable chunk of change.
It is, but why so high?
That's a lot of taxes.
It is.
Texas, baby.
Which, you know, if they're going to the right channels,
They're
great.
not.
Right. That's
Don't.
exactly why I'm like, they're not. So this
Don't-
is a
There
Don't
it
do that
is.
thing.
The optimism hat?
No, the government thing.
Oh, the
Don't do that
government
thing.
What did I do?
I don't know. I work
know.
for
The
the
government
government.
never. No.
Oh, you're talking about the government?
They just never spend that money correctly.
No, no,
ever,
they don't.
Never.
I'd love at some point to get into like a good discussion on like exactly how fucked the military spending system is.
Oh,
This is real
yeah.
bad.
We don't have all day, Lauren.
Not
Maybe
today,
one day we
anyway.
should.
We may have all day of a different day.
Yeah.
I was like, what you're talking about. We don't have plans.
Right. So she goes from 35 million to like 5.3, basically.
Okay.
Now she's a widow. She has a shit ton of money still, and
Yeah, she sure does.
she still has a lot of money,
Yeah.
and she can get back to her passions. So in 1953, she meets back with Margaret, who tells her about a doctor in Worcester trying to develop a pill for women to take that will serve as a contraceptive.
Oh, I
Yay.
think I know of this doctor because of a Drunk History episode.
She meets with the guy named Gregory Pincus.
That might be it. Did he study abroad because he was black and they wouldn't let him into the universities?
Don't.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of
We don't
Don't
myself.
have
know.
that background here this time around.
No, this is a woman's podcast. Sorry.
We're just gonna have just
There is one episode where I like give a dude his due,
Ah,
And-
sure.
but he fucking earned it, man.
Okay. All right, so she met up with Margaret and she talked about this doctor.
Yeah, she met this guy named Gregory Pincus. Gregory was a biochemist who had been working on an oral contraceptive for 2 years and had just had his
Virgin.
funding pulled because he had not yet turned a profit.
Okay. Turns out I was wrong about Gregory Pincus, not who I'm thinking of. Just want to put that out there.
he looks
He does not look at all like the person I was thinking of.
He looks white.
Yes, that's where I'm going with that.
There you go.
Ah. Yep.
So at the end of their meeting,
Confirmed.
at the end of their first meeting,
Okay.
Catherine wrote Gregory a check for $40,000,
oh
said get to work, and she went to Santa Barbara to settle her estates and moved back across the country to Massachusetts.
She trusts him.
Annually, she provided Gregory with $100,000 for his research.
She really trusts him.
wow.
And when cost went up, she upped the funding to $170,000 to $180,000 annually.
Ah, wow.
4 years after her funding of the research, the Food and Drug Administration approved the bill for menstrual disorders, and then in 1960 added contraception to its purposes.
And just to put that into perspective, like, she still had, $5 million. Like, that's not even a quarter of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
But also, how much longer would it have taken to get birth control without this woman
True.
giving her own money?
Like, nobody was
To
going to
have
fund
this
that
develop.
besides her.
Good things only ever get done by good people, not by accident.
I really imagine the meeting going something like where he's like, I gotta, it's gonna take like so much to do it, and she's like, well, how much is it gonna take? And he just, about this much.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a check for twice that
Yeah,
amount.
show
and
your
we're just
nerd
going.
mouth.
Like,
Here's a blank check. Fucking do it.
if I gotta pay for it, I gotta pay for it. Like I'm
Right,
telling
right,
you,
right.
let's go.
Yeah.
She was ready.
Well, part of this is all for womankind. Did you not understand? Get to work, nerd.
For all of womankind, I will fund this research.
She might as well call him bitch.
Get to work, bitch.
Bitch. Respectfully, get to work.
Respectfully.
You better work, bitch. Put your butts on, Brittany.
Oh,
When I worked at the dispensary, like, we were allowed to not have safe for work language just kind of around the store because it's a pot shop, so
Right.
Yeah.
obviously.
what?
But every once in a while, I have like this victorious moment where I was talking about something and be like, "Take that, bitch," and then I realize I'd be like in the presence of my boss, so I'd be like, respectfully, "Take that, bitch."
Yeah, I was talking to you, Gary.
Respectfully.
Oh, that's your boyfriend.
Respectfully, Gary.
John.
With all due respect, Gare.
Just because you say no offense doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. I think
Guess
it
what?
does.
I'm already offended.
I just said no offense.
Offense,
Pretty
obviously.
sure it does.
Rather than pull her funding once the pill was approved, she continued to fund Gregory to further research the pill and find improvements where they could be made.
Okay.
Another chapter of her life successfully concluded, Catherine turned her sights back to her alma mater. When McCormick attended MIT, female students were allowed to attend, but there was only housing enough for 50 females to live on campus. Catherine and the other alumni from the institute held on to the worry that at any moment MIT could just forget about women and stop accepting them altogether.
Yeah.
So Catherine donated money to MIT to build the Stanley McCormick Hall, an all-female dormitory that housed 200 students.
Yeah. See? You gotta shove it in there. Because otherwise it's not gonna listen.
If you don't have the
Forget.
funding, I'll give you the funding. Just do this fucking thing.
Yeah. Do not
Just come
stop.
on. If it's money you need, I'll give you the money. If you
Right,
want to do a
right.
good thing,
Are we still talking
here.
about building a dorm?
Yes.
Oh, I was talking about birth control.
Yeah, everybody's talking
I mean,
all
about
of
shoving
it.
stuff
Both
in
things.
places and the money, and I got confused.
Oh, I get
shoving
it.
the money into the college's hands.
I
to
was way
pay-
off base.
Whatever. It's both. It's both.
I'll just be very upfront. I got that. I was talking about something else. I was not talking about the dorms. Sorry.
I love that. Yeah, so it increased the attendance rate of the women from 3% to 40%.
Whoa.
Damn right. Women want to learn.
The visible presence of women at MIT helps open up the science and engineering professions to a large part of the population that before had been excluded. It demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt that MIT men and women are equal.
I can't imagine. I'm trying to picture him as a student.
You cannot.
No, that's a professor.
He's not from here, he's from Cambridge, I would imagine.
Maybe Oxford.
Yeah, something like that.
He's a visiting professor.
Yeah, right.
That's
Off from
Eton.
afar.
That's Eton.
Oh.
Yes.
That is Eton.
He's an Eton man.
That's an Eton man.
He's a fucking nerd.
Is what he is what he is.
Just that guy in the back, just a fucking nerd. Just going, nerd!
You fucking nerd.
No, we need nerds. I'm not hating. I'm just saying.
Imagine he'd get tricked by the, you want some up, dog?
What's up, dog?
Not much. What's up with you?
Oh, God.
Okay. Catherine died at the age of 92 in 1967.
Made it to her 90s. Good job.
Yep. In her will, she would donate $5 million to Stanford University School of Medicine to support female physicians,
Oh, yes.
$5 million for Planned Parenthood, $1 million to Worcester Foundation for Experimental Biology, $500,000 to the Chicago Art Institute, and 9 Impressionist paintings given to the Santa Barbara Museum of Art. Her old home has been turned into a set of classrooms for the museum.
Wow.
As it turns out, Catherine's idea that schizophrenia is connected to a chemical imbalance was right on the money. Now people can take pills for contraception, pills to balance out mental imbalance, and don't have to smuggle diaphragms, and it's all because she used her ridiculous amounts of wealth to do as much good as she could for women.
Yeah, thanks to her, we don't have to pose as French or German scientists now. I mean, I was worried about that. But
I don't know,
is amazing.
give me your best French accent. Go.
Oh, oui, oui. That's all I got.
Nailed it.
Oh, I can say horse in French, cheval, but very American for accent.
Omelette du fromage.
Oh, fuck, I can't say that.
Omelette du fromage.
Jeez.
Thank you, Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah.
Hey, Dexter.
Dexter's
Wow.
alive.
It all comes back around.
It does all come back down to Josephine and Wirt.
Dee
Wirt. Wirt.
Yeah.
Just imagine to be like, and just be like, I, Josephine, take thee, Wirt, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
What'd you say?
I said, I, Josephine, take thee, Wirt, to be my lawfully wedded husband.
Wart?
No, Wirt.
Wirt?
Wirt? No. Wirt.
What about a
Wirt?
yurt?
Wirt?
No, Wirt bought a yurt.
You want some
Wirt
yoga?
is not a
What?
yurt. You want some...
She's dead. Long live the queen. 92.
92.
At
she did.
92, yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, we love her. This was amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
Yeah, thank you from me too.
Yeah. Yes. From all of us.
On behalf of men.
And thank you all for listening to another episode of Well Behaved Women with Lauren, with
Hey.
B, Anika, and I am Hannah. And you can find us on our website at wellbehavedwomenpodcast.com. I'm still learning all the socials. The Instagram at wellbehavedwomenpodcast. You can always email us to our Gmail at wellbehavedwomenpodcast@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, and that is Well Behaved Women. podcast, I'm assuming?
Apparently we have a page and also a group.
We have both, guys.
Don't know what the difference is, but we'll be
Pick
posting
one,
things to both of those.
and then eventually we'll pit you against each other.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Just kidding. We won't do that. But yes, join either one for Well-Behaved Women. And then finally, I got the Facebook, the Instagram. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music recently, or Amazon Podcasts.
Yes.
Something like that.
Same.
Apple Podcasts. Apparently we found out there's something called Blueberry Podcasts. We're on there as well. If you have one, hey, welcome.
If you have another streaming service that you're listening to us on,
Let us know.
Give us a follow and let us know where the hell you can hear us.
Yes. And we also are going to be getting a Discord for our listeners sometime soon in the future, so we'll be getting you a few updates on that as well. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to hearing the next story next week.
Yes. I'm so excited about it.
I know. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.